The Formula One season moves away from Mexico City and down to Sao Paulo. It's the Sao Paulo Grand Prix at Interlagos. Just 4 races remain in the opening 5 weeks then. Sao Paulo before the first ever race in Qatar, 2-week break before Saudi Arabia if the track is finished on time, and Abu Dhabi on the 10th to the 12th of December rounds out this incredible season that has been dominated by Max Verstappen in terms of victories. In the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen leads by 19 points. It's match point for him this weekend at Sao Paulo. Lewis Hamilton has to win in order to keep his championship hopes alive. Valtteri Bottas has moved ahead of Sergio Perez. Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc in a battle for McLaren-Ferrari supremacy as well sees Carlos Sainz 7th with Danny Ricciardo 8th. Pierre Gasly 9th and Fernando Alonso rounds out the top 10. A staggering 252.5 points separate the top 10 in the standings. In the second page, it's Esteban Ocon on 46 points in a battle with Max Verstappen as well. Lance Stroll holding off Yuki Tsunoda. Russell is now separated between his teammate with Kimi Raikkonen getting points last time out in Mexico. Nicholas Latifi 17th. Giovinazzi the last driver with points. Still no points for Mick Schumacher or Nikita Mazepin, but of course Robert Kubica finishing 20th due to having a higher finishing position in the 2 races he did compared to Nikita Mazepin. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes leads the way by just a single point to Red Bull as well. It's closing up for Red Bull to try and do the double. Ferrari and McLaren locked in a battle over 3rd place as well. The battle for 5th and 6th still now exactly the same points between Alpine and AlphaTauri. Aston Martin in 7th, distant on their own. Williams securing 8th, Alfa Romeo 9th, and still no points on the board for Haas F1. It's first practice for the 2021 Sao Paulo Grand Prix here at Interlagos. Let's take a look at the Autodromo Juan Carlos Palace as well, a 2.677 mile circuit, 15 turns in total, commonly known as Interlagos. This fantastic circuit been on the calendar since the 1960s. On board with the Mercedes from 2021. Good acceleration out of the last corner. 8th gear, 335 kilometers an hour as you approach the braking zone for turns 1 and 2. The Senna S. Down 3rd gear, 130. 5th gear, 220 as you round turn 3. The Curve de Sol. Down the Retroposto towards Casino de Larga. First DRS detection zone, then 8th gear, 335 kilometers an hour. Back on the brakes, slam down 4th gear, 175. Back up through turn 5, 7th gear at 275. Up now to the top of the hill at Ferradura. Down now, 5th gear, 220 kilometers an hour to the braking zone to the first hairpin down at turn 8. Down now, 3rd gear, 120 kilometers an hour. Back on the power ever so gently as you rise up the hill towards Magullo at turn 10. 5th gear, 210 kilometers an hour as you ride through turn 11 before into turn 12 and the second checkpoint for sector 2. Juncao down now, 3rd gear, 130 kilometers an hour. Back up the hill through turn 13 before coming through the boxes corner at turn 14. 7th gear, 270 kilometers an hour. Open up the DRS once again. Back up 8th gear, 330 kilometers an hour. That is a lap of Interlagos. Hello everybody, welcome to first practice at Sao Paulo, Brazil. It is the Formula One's return to this once great racetrack. And then in 1981, it became a legendary racetrack as well. It underwent mass transformation. And then finally, it became the Interlagos we know. It's no longer the Brazilian Grand Prix, it's the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. We've seen legends born around here as well. Loads of memorable moments as well. Turn 12 as well has had a couple. The Juncao section of the track as well. We're looking at turn 4 where Senna and Vettel made contact in 2012. That's Bruno Senna, not Ayrton Senna. This is Juncal, though. Look at Norris and Leclerc back in 2019 as well at Juncal. Scene of Fisher Keller winning in 03. And that famous is that Glock moment coming through as well. Tyre compounds, we've got the C2 hard, C3 medium and C4 soft, the same we've had across all of the America continent races as well. Chance of rain though, so watch out for the blue wet and the green intermediate tyre. Sunshine just outside of the circuit. Above the circuit, dark, dark clouds. A lot of expectation. We could be seeing rain in the air in this first practice session as well. It's a sprint weekend format as well, so many things are very, very different. And to begin with, Synthel's decided to join me in the commentary box. Good afternoon to you, Synthel. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited for this practice, especially because it's the only practice before qualifying. So we're going to expect a lot of action on the track today. Yeah, and with the rain expected, you can see a lot of chaos possible.
Winds up as well. Track temperature 37 degrees. Air temperature 18 degrees. Wind is blowing 0.8 miles per second. So that is quite a strong breeze. You can see them all being dusted around the side of the track. Pizza's being delivered in the grandstands as well. I can see beer. It must be Heineken. They're sponsoring this event as well. But they're all set to go. And whether you want to call this race the Brazilian Grand Prix or the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, it does not matter, because as I look in my commentary box at the moment, nearly every piece of information I've got contradicts each other. FIA's official press release shows the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, and then their track map for the pit lane shows the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's very confusing. Speaking of pit lanes, a remarkable effort by all 10 teams to get their cars out on this track, because as of last night, not even, 18 hours ago, cars were not here. There was no engines for any team as well. Those that did have the chassis and the monocoques could not put them together because they didn't have the gearboxes, the engines, anything. The mechanics have worked overnight to get these cars ready for free practice one. If it wasn't a sprint weekend, Synthel, practice would have surely have been cancelled. So the format change helped out a lot of people there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just checked, and the race control said it was 60% chance of rain for this section.
My goodness me, yeah, it is. As well, I just looked at myself. Yeah, 60% chance of rain. Air temperature, well, that was 1 hour before, was 17 degrees, but it is changing out there. A lot of anticipation as to what we're going to see in this first session. Of course, 32 seconds until the green light goes on for practice one. Reminder, this is a sprint weekend format, which means we are going to see the first practice session, followed by qualifying, practice 2 on Saturday morning, the sprint race on Saturday afternoon, early evening, but the main race on Sunday will take part at its normal time. That's 3 p.m. local as well. And that means for us here in the UK, that takes part at, I think, 5 o'clock, yes. And over there in the Netherlands, I think, Synthel, it's going to take part at 6 o'clock your time as the green light's on, the practice is underway. Got Raikkonen.
Yeah.
Raikkonen's trying to come through on the radio, but I'm not hearing anything just yet. So internet issues probably causing there. Red Bull having some aero paint being put on there as well. So, Synthel, what are you expecting to see in this session? Of course, you run the F1 highlights on TikTok and Instagram as well, clipping all the best bits. So hopefully I'm not going to have you down too much in this session. But it's been a very exciting, chaotic year. I think one of the best we've seen in decades.
Yeah, it's a lot of chaos indeed. And, people saw the statistics and saw that at the previous 2 sprint races, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton did come together. And now with the sprint race, people are already saying, like, oh, they're going to have another collision. But if that will happen, we'll find out later on. They've got basically 2 races to make that happen.
I bet you they will as well. I'm just honestly thinking that they're going to have access to any form of contact. I mean, it has admittedly been a bit of a pattern. Silverstone, they made contact. Italy, they made contact. And here in Brazil as well, they've got at least have a little bit of wheel banging. And the perfect opportunity to do it is down at turn 1. The Senna S is right now as well. There's your weekend format then explained. Friday, 60-minute practice 1. 60-minute qualifying, but that's split into 3 segments, 18, 15 and 12 for qualifying. Saturday practice, another 60-minute session before going into the sprint race. That can last no more than half an hour and 100 kilometres to the race. It is going to be, we understand, a 24-lap sprint. And then the main race on Sunday, 71 laps will be ahead of us as well. It's all going to be energetic here so far. Bottas then coming through. What have you made of Bottas in Thule? He's scored points in quite a lot of his races since being announced as an Alfa Romeo driver. He's gone from being Mika Salo to being thrown up to being Mika Hakkinen. What do you make of it?
Yeah, that's true. And at some point, I think he was the one who got the most points after he got announced. So that was, I'm not sure why. Maybe he doesn't have a lot of pressure anymore now, but he doesn't have a lot of pressure anymore now, and he's just going with it.
Third in
he's doing a great job now, indeed. And I'm excited to see what he can do in Alfa Romeo next year.
Absolutely, as well, as we keep on looking through as well. He was third in the Netherlands and again in Italy, but got extra points for winning the sprint race. He was 5th in Russia, won the Turkish Grand Prix, 8th in the USA, didn't score any points in Mexico, but admittedly that wasn't his fault. That was Danny Ricciardo tapping the back of him and getting spun round as well. Driver tracker not working. It never does in first practice. It'll probably come back to us at some point. If not, you've got a lovely view of the track going on ahead of us as well. Let's take a quick look at the group chat, to which Josh Plays is saying that he's in the Discord as well with race control messages if you want to jump in. I can't because it's a sprint weekend as well. That's not exactly set up for the right software because everything's jumping over the background. He also says as well, Josh, that there is loads of Apple Watch noise going off. Yes, my phone on my watch going off as well. Not having a great start to that one. Verstappen then, he's on a radio actually.
Part of which...
Oh, and Verstappen's having big tyre vibrations already, and that's not good. He's out there on the C3 tyre compound, looking quick as he comes out of the Subaru boxes, turn 14, into the Aqua... I can't pronounce that one, as Perez goes top one on 111. Then Verstappen does on 111, 482. In the heat of the moment there, Synth, I just looked at the name and thought, I cannot pronounce that in a quick enough time. It's Aquibiac... I can't even pronounce it. I'm going to have to get it closer to the screen. I can't even pronounce it. I'm not even going to bother. Let's just go to Acqui, the last corner. It's turn 15, the quick kink onto the start-finish straight. It's so confusing, this one. What was it?
Arquibancadas, I guess.
You've got it.
Yeah, it's a tricky name indeed.
I'll just leave the commentary in your capable hands. I think you can do it. I cannot pronounce that for the life of me at the moment. I think there's a lot of topic as well, though. It's not the last corner that I always get it. It's turn 12. I pronounce it Jung Cao, and then Crofty goes on Jung Chow. How would you pronounce turn 12's name?
Yeah, I guess it should be turn Chow indeed.
Yeah.
Because, in Brazilian you got the C, which is pronounced as a Ch, I guess. I'm not really sure, but I think Crofty done his research and... Often
Crofty can be wrong though, as I found out. I found that out as well. Looking through as well, but there's some fantastic ones as well. The Senna S turn 1 and 2, Curva de Sol turn 3, where we're seeing Raikkonen come down now. The Retroposta towards Casino del Lago as well. Fantastic segment turn 4 as well. As they sweep through. Ferradora, I think, is one of the fantastic names on this circuit. It's turn 6, uphill, where Hamilton crashed, I think, back in 2017 or 18. But honestly, Ferradora is absolutely one of the most unusual names to see on an F1 circuit, as time's immediately getting in.
You're right. I think it was during qualifying in 2017 when Lewis crashed there. I also just noticed now when we were looking at the onboards, they did change the curbs there in the turn 6, which looks more modern. It looks nice, I think.
I think I've read that somewhere in the track changes via what we get from the FIA. as we take a look through his Bottas crosses the line, goes second at 1:11.540. Changed it to the circuit. Yep, you're right. That part of the track down 10.6 has actually been changed. And they've removed some of the sausage curbs that lined some of the exit corners here, like at the exit there of Mugello at turn 11 on the run into Zhongao. So they've removed those boards as well, as Verstappen's fastest Sector 1 and Sector 2, looking to go quicker again as he comes up towards the line. This should be quite a good one. And it's a 1:10.853. So immediately Verstappen's on the ball. He's complaining still that the tyres aren't biting to the circuit. Is that due to the track condition? The track temperature is beginning to drop because we've got massive rain clouds just above.
Yeah, it could be. It still seems dry. I think everyone is struggling a little bit. But it, surely can be the case.
As Hamilton now, with a Senna-inspired helmet, crosses line as a 1:11.897. We've got the Senna flag up in the commentary box that was first shown on here on YouTube at Snetterton, where I bought it from. But I've been looking forward to having it up in the commentary box for this race. So the Senna flag with the signature as well, all in the background. Can't have a Brazilian Grand Prix or Sao Paulo Grand Prix, whatever, without that flag. 52 minutes to go in the session. Fernando Alonso still running around on the circuit. A 5-place grid penalty for Lewis Hamilton has just been confirmed, and that is because Mercedes have taken a new internal combustion engine for this race. So that already is a massive blow to the title, Synthel. What's your immediate reaction to that?
Yeah, well, I understand it as well, because if you look at Brazil in history, it seems to be a Red Bull track, and it's it's a very good track to overtake. So if they still need to make changes, they should have done it now, and they just did. But yeah, it is some breaking news indeed.
So
I didn't see that coming, to be honest.
I didn't. There was rumours going around that they might actually do it, but I didn't expect them to. With only 4 races to go in the championship, I suppose 4 races, it still is an awfully big tie. But with Verstappen having a 19-point gap in this championship, that might just give the advantage to Max come Sunday. But it is a different format this weekend. Qualifying takes place later on today to set the grid for the sprint race. So Hamilton now could actually win the sprint race, get those 3 points, and then he'll start at least 6th on the grid and fight back for a podium. So it's only 5 places, and as you said, Cynthia, there, it's a track you can overtake at. It could be they've done that because of the points available in the sprint race.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I might have just seen some rain already coming down.
Ah, really? Oh, wow.
I think at turn 6. Well, I've got a bit of a delay, so I'm just saw that camera angle again. But I think it was raining a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure. But also, yeah, because of the 19 points difference, that could also be another reason why Hamilton might want to take some more risks. And obviously, Verstappen won't back down, so that's another reason why they might have another collision this weekend again.
Oh, if they do collide as well, that's going to give advantage to Verstappen, regardless of what happens in terms of points paying positions. Let's hear from Lewis Hamilton. He's on the radio.
Front end is really poor, bouncing vertically a lot. Copy.
Is it?
Front end is really poor, bouncing vertically a lot. So Hamilton supporting the same thing as Max Verstappen, and you are right, Cynthia, it's raining down at turn 6. So I've just seen that as well. So, and they're at that top of the hill, that little bowl section with the track backs up on itself. So turn 6, Ferradura, 7, 8, 9 is quite close to where turn 15 is. And you can see it is just lightly dripping with rain. So that's going to play a factor as well. It's a dry race predicted for Sunday and a dry sprint race. And this first practice, they've got to get out there to learn the track if it is wet going into qualifying. So it's all thrown up in the air once again.
Yeah, they'll now all just, I think, complete a few more laps on the dry, but then they'll have to switch over if it gets any more wet.
This is Kimi Raikkonen coming through Ferradura at turn 6, where that spots of rain are, and yet he loses a little bit of the rear of the control as well, just skates over the back of the track. Don't think that's anything to do with the track conditions, though. I think he had a bit too much bootful and just caught the bump through turn 6, so he'll continue on no problem. Raikkonen entering his last 4 races in Formula 1 after he's announced he's going to call it a day. after calling it a day previously. Oh, side by side, Verstappen passing Sainz towards turn 1. That was a big actual racing manoeuvre, and Perez locks up now to the centre race as well. It's all kicking off. They're all trying to get out there. Have you just seen the same thing?
Yeah, I've now just seen it. Indeed, it was a bit close. It looked like Paris broken up. It looked like Sainz was even defending a little bit to the inside, but that was close indeed.
Ocon's gone P3 at 1:11.657 as well. Perez's first sector time is an 18.379, so time's beginning to improve there as well. You can get in contact via the YouTube chat as well, and at Joshua Birch 99, and of course at F1 Highlights _3 on Instagram, and is it F1 Highlights 1 on TikTok there, Synthel?
Yes, it is. I actually made that account still when my first account was alive. But, yeah.
Fantastic. So, yeah, absolutely go, because honestly, fantastic. Every time I scroll through and go onto TikTok, I just see a couple of videos that pop up as well that you've put on as well about things that I don't see in the UK because we don't have access to F1 TV. So that's why all my monitors are literally just everything I can get hold of. So usually you see footage you haven't seen before, like I think you put on the accident from the Italian Grand Prix sprint race, but you left the radios on a lot more, so we heard actually what they said in real time. I think that's something you sent me as well.
Yeah.
Of
course. Looking on board with F1 TV, you can hear the live radio, and I use it a lot for my content.
It's fantastic content as well, and I think how many followers are you up to now as well on both Instagram and TikTok?
Yeah, on Instagram it's a lot more difficult to get more reach, so it's 2.6 thousand on my Instagram at the moment, but my TikTok is going towards 28,000 at the moment.
Megastar.
Something happening.
Yeah. On Insta, on TikTok, you can. It's very different sometimes. You can have one post which is only 1,000 views, and the next one got almost 500,000. So TikTok is interesting when posting.
Absolutely, especially with the hashtags. I've put 2 TikTok videos on, and I could never really get into it as well. I think that's something that Megan could probably do it for me. She could probably take the outside over, because otherwise I'm just so busy with it all. Ricciardo's locked up coming into turn 10. That is actually another difficult corner name. It's the Bico de Paio corner. Bico de Pablo corner. No, hang on, I've got that wrong as well. It's the Bico di Pato corner. So I was right with my second attempt at that corner name. It's so difficult, this track as well. I'm just going to cry when I have to pronounce turn 7, which is Curva do Lagunita. It's just absolutely, that's probably even wrong. F1 TV, by the way, has just become available in the UK. Speaking of it, Motorsport Broadcasting's just tweeted, and he has said, great news, F1 TV is now available to watch on connected TV devices, including Apple TV, Apple Fire TV, and Google TV set-top boxes. So I don't know if that is, we now get F1 Pro, but that means at least we get F1 Access. Maybe that's to come for 2022, where finally we can have some onboard cameras. If that ever happens, I'm going to need about 60 monitors in this commentary box so I can have all the cars on and all the other information. So, yeah, I am jealous that you get all that. How much time, Synthel, do you spend flicking between the Ziggo pictures and the F1 TV pictures?
Yeah, I've got them both. I'm usually just watching the TV pictures on my TV, and I've got my iPad with me to watch some onboards. But obviously with F1 TV there is a very big delay, so it's not like I can see it live, because if something happens, it still need to happen on the F1 TV.
Yeah.
But also,
yes.
By the way, I think the how many accounts you can share it with is limited, so it's not like you can have 20 accounts or 20 log in on 20 different things and watch it all, because I think you need to make more accounts in that case.
No, that's annoying. I need there'll be a way around. They should do, I'll tell you what they should do then is offer, that you can jump on board. They should offer a box, just one single channel where all 20 F1 cars are lined up on one screen. So you can call it the F1 Mega Watch or something. And just have that. But to be fair, the only thing I'd do if I had F1 TV, and I would know, I would put the pit lane channel on another monitor, and then I'll just get the random onboard channel that flicks it around as well. Bottas is reporting drops of rain as Hamilton is side by side with Sergio Perez around the outside, down at turn 15. And rounding towards turn 1, Hamilton gets past Perez, and it's more like the sprint now than it is. But yeah, Synthel, drops of rain, as you said, now down on the track.
Yeah, that idea of 20 onboards, of course, great. I think you can put 2 onboards together.
Oh,
but,
really?
That's it, I think. Yeah.
All right then. So I'll have Hamilton and Verstappen on one screen, so I can keep an eye on what they are in the race, and then I'll have the pit lane channel on another. I think that would work out quite well. I'm hoping, I'm just wishing the day that happens, because up in my comm box at the moment, I've got the computer monitor that's doing the OBS, the laptop which has got a broken driver tracker, then I've got the monitor with the YouTube chat and yourself on, an iPad with the radio times coming through that again isn't working because on a sprint weekend everything seems to shut down from and a big timing screen that is actually working, and of course the world feed pictures that we're watching from my end of Sky F1. So I still think, though, I would rather be in your position, being able to hop between the two. As Hamilton comes across the line, he's dropping tenths now as well. The track, I think, has gone already. He was 2 seconds off that one.
Indeed. Looking on board with Lewis, just at like turn 6 and 7 there, around there, it is you see pretty clearly that it is starting to rain.
So that's it. Then,
because of that,
Perez is
it's not heavy yet, but it might be later on. I'm not sure if the rain is going to increase over this session.
I'll take a look on my handy weather app that we have got up as well. Let's take a look as we see, first of all, Charles Leclerc into the Senna S at turn 1, braking from 8th gear, 335 kilometres, down to 3rd gear, 130 kilometres, and he's put a flat spot on those hard tyres, so he's taking it through now as well. Believe it or not, Sao Paulo is saying it's currently not raining and just dry, so while I take a look at the weather forecast in terms of prediction of actual rain coming through, there's a big cloud of rain coming through, ready for qualifying as well, so that risk of rain is now increasing as well. So anyone fancy a 2009 reboot, or what was it, 2013 quality reboot here, where we're stood around for hours on end waiting for the qualifying to actually continue? There's some work going on now on the front suspension of Max Verstappen. So both the championship leader and the guy chasing him in the championship, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, complaining that the front suspension is too hard. It's not soft enough to absorb the bumps around here. Interlagos was repaved in 2018, and it was okay for the 2019 race, but it's been left for 24 months since that last race, of course, due to the COVID pandemic. And this is the first time any running's been done on this circuit in a very, very long time. And you can see how green the rubber is. And now they've put a lot down already in the opening 20 minutes of this session. But with rain approaching and drops of it hitting the circuit, if this track gets lost, we could be seeing a lot of action for qualifying, and indeed a lot more action for the Free Practice 2 session tomorrow. So maybe we've found the solution, Synthel, to fixing the F1 sprint weekends. Make it rain in first practice. That'll solve everything.
Well, when I checked, I think it was no rain expected for anything else, just only FP1 and maybe the qualifying. But for tomorrow and Sunday, there's probably no rain, what I saw.
Exactly what I saw as well. No rain coming in as well, as I've lost Sky's TV pictures as well. Let's give you a quick fast fact about this circuit as well. As I said, Alain Prost has got the most victories around this circuit with 6. The French driver won 5 times at a different circuit as well, at the Rio de Janeiro Giancarlo Palace circuit, which was a 1982 with Renault, 84, 85 and 87, and 88 with McLaren as well. And he won in 1990 at Interlagos with Ferrari. Of course, there was a big joke around the time that Alain Prost was a lot better at Brazil than Ayrton Senna was. Senna only won twice the Grand Prix of Brazil, and that was both here at Interlagos, 1991 and 1993. Both rain affected. Cynthia, I think you want to say something.
Oh, do I?
Oh, sorry. I thought I could hear you getting ready to chime in when I was giving you some. We're giving the fast facts out, so I thought I'd better wrap that up.
Check the F1 app, but I heard some commentary or something. I tried to put that up real quick.
Ah, right, okay.
But well, now I can talk. Look at the gap between Perez and Verstappen. That's it's only 200, I think it was.
Yes,
So
yeah.
that was love to see that. Do you think Perez can win in this weekend, or just Verstappen, or anyone else?
I honestly think Perez stands a very good chance of winning this weekend as well. I mean, I think the pressure's off ever so slightly for Max Verstappen now, because he's got that big old gap to Hamilton. He can afford to relax for a couple of races. And I honestly think that Perez, if he's quick on Sunday, and he is ahead of Verstappen, I don't see why Red Bull would swap them around, because Verstappen would do better holding Hamilton up now that Hamilton's going to have to come through on the charge. So I think this is probably the best weekend for Perez to go for a race win since Silverstone. So I'm hoping that Perez is going to have this one. But of course, Perez threw it off in the sprint race at Silverstone and lost all the possible momentum. So that's a disappointment.
Yeah. And we just talked about, of course, the improvements Bottas did, because he was going a lot better. But also Perez has really improved over the last races, getting another podium in Mexico, and also actually fought for pole position for a moment.
Oh, I thought just for a brief second he had pole, and then Verstappen came through, and then Tsunoda was in the way of the track as well, and Perez had to jump out of the way, and then Verstappen got caught out by it as well. But honestly, Sergio Perez, third place in the last 3 races, actually, as well. He was third in Turkey, third in USA, and third in Mexico. So, as you say, he's on a string of them right now for podiums. And he's the happiest guy is not actually Sergio Perez, it's his father. Papa Perez is more happy as well. I mean, those scenes after Mexico was just fantastic. Proud father alert, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It was he was partying a lot more than Perez was. It looked like.
Perez, well, I think Perez didn't actually have any big celebrations, did he? He immediately went to Brazil. I think his father actually partied, and as you said, wasn't there a photo going around that he was on a plane and his father was still smiling with that Mexican flag and not half, very, very drunk. And Perez just sat there and thumbs up.
I have seen that picture indeed. Perez was already calmed down a lot more. You saw there, and his father was looking very, very proud indeed.
Perez, so Stroll says, saying there's rain on the track now as well, and there's a lot of it coming down, and even the weather forecast now is showing it as well. But yeah, honestly, I cannot wait to see what is going to happen next with Sergio Perez. There are rumours going around this weekend as well that maybe after next season he'll be replaced by Pierre Gasly once again. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Gasly is happy at AlphaTauri and he's eyeing up positions elsewhere in Formula One, in other teams as well. I think the best hope Red Bull have got for now, if they want to have some solidarity between the two teammates, it's definitely to keep Sergio Perez, because Verstappen has proved that if you put a younger driver in there, it just doesn't work. They've gone through Gasly, Albon, Kvyat, everything. It just does not work. Keep Perez alongside Verstappen as well, because Perez is actually helping Verstappen. It's a bit like Schumacher and Barrichello. It's a weird situation. I've said that nearly all season long. As 2 seconds to hear from Hamilton.
Front's bouncing across the track, mate.
Yeah, copy. So the front's bouncing across the track, says Lewis Hamilton. So already Hamilton, that would be because the suspension is so stiff as well that it's literally just hitting a bump and the car's just jumping around over the side of the track. He wants a softer spring setup, which could work around this circuit. Typically, Interlagos is a quite soft suspension circuit as it swings you around quite a lot. With the lap attack that we showed earlier on in the broadcast as well, that was done with a soft front suspension and a soft rear suspension as well, and on a minimum fuel load. So that's quite an interesting situation to find Hamilton in making mistakes. Back to you, Cynthia, though, because I interrupted you with what you were saying, as we see now spots of rain on the camera now through the turn 9 segment of the track.
Yeah, well, I really agree with that Perez should stay in that car. He's getting more comfortable to that car, and he's performing a lot better. And Gasly, when he was in the Red Bull, he looked like he had a bit too much pressure going on, and which made him go a little slower than they would hope. And when he got back to AlphaTauri, he was doing again a very good job. And I think AlphaTauri is the best team for him.
Absolutely, and I think that victory in Monza last year, or was it the year before? When was it? No, it was 2020, wasn't it? Yeah, that victory with Pierre Gasly at Monza got to be up there with one of the greatest comeback drives ever. I think I described it at the time as the greatest comeback since Elvis Presley. I think James Allen did the same thing actually at one point. I got told that after as well. Coming through then, the drivers are now nearly all coming back into the pit lane. Hamilton and Ocon are still there as well. Josh says as well, Verstappen and Hamilton in the same team would be mad. Stefan says Red Bull hoping for a dry race, hate for no crashes. Absolutely. But that would be... Do you think that's a possibility it could ever happen? As the FIA have now declared this a wet track, so they've lost it. Do you think that Verstappen and Hamilton could ever be in the same team, or is that just literally another another Rosberg-Hamilton situation?
I don't think they will ever. I honestly don't think they will ever get in the same team, to be honest. I think Hamilton will finish his career in Mercedes, and Verstappen will stay with Red Bull as long as possible, probably.
If Hamilton does stay with Mercedes, he'll be the only driver in Formula One history to win every single World Championship, every single race of his career, powered by a Mercedes engine. No other driver has done that. He's with McLaren Mercedes from 2007 till 2012, and then with the factory Mercedes from 2013 till present. And there's at least another 2 years of Hamilton. He signed on for 2022 and for 2023. But after that, it looks like it could be au revoir to Lewis Hamilton. After that, he does not want to go in again for another long haul of the championship, as at the moment we're seeing Hamilton coming round now on slick tyres still, but the track has been declared wet. So just got to wait now for intermediates as they're sliding around there. Half hour into the session. If you're watching along with us on YouTube, welcome along. If you listen to the radio commentary as well, thanks for tuning in as well. We'll be back here throughout the weekend across qualifying and all of the sprint races and the main race as well. It is always going flat out as well as the two Mercedes. You're not seeing this in the, but I don't know if you will, but Bottas came into the pit lane just as Lewis Hamilton was leaving the garage, and the two Mercedes almost ran into each other as the pit box located just alongside Hamilton's exit, so they almost crashed again. So this is we were just talking about a situation with Hamilton and his teammates crashing. They've done it. They nearly did it again, and that would have been the joke of the season if we were expecting Verstappen to hit Hamilton. If it was Bottas to hit Hamilton, that would have been absolutely hilarious, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure when that was. I think Bottas is still...
I think Sky showed it only.
Yeah, was it a replay because Bottas not on track now?
Oh, I think only Sky showed it, so hopefully that's a different one, because Sky have got cameras back in the pit, so I'll try and send that across to you if we see it. That's a different turnaround. Usually it's you sending me stuff, but I'm sure you'll find it on your social travels as well, as the action continues on right now as well.
Yeah, the two Ferraris has also come out on track again. I think both on the medium.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh dear, they're not the same part, are they? We don't want that. No, they're at the completely opposite parts of the track. Sainz is at Ferradura, and Leclerc's at Senna S. That's good then, because the last thing we want is the two Ferraris anywhere near each other, especially after what they did in 2019. Admittedly, though, that kind of made the race in 2019, because before that it was quite dull and boring, and then all of a sudden, bang, the last 10 laps or so was some of the best racing we've ever seen in Formula One.
Yeah, that's right. And also now I think there was pretty close between Sainz and Leclerc, so they won't be too soft on each other. So, but I'm not expecting them to come together again, to be honest. As I see, Leclerc is going purple sector 1, even though it's a wet track.
That's surprising me then. So it looks like I'm seeing sunshine start-finish straight. A little bit of sunshine bleeding through. Sainz has gone third. And there's a brief yellow somewhere on the circuit, but it's come in now to go back to green. Leclerc's just off in sector 2, 0.061 though, so he's still back out there. Should at least go slotting ahead of Perez and maybe splitting the two Red Bulls if this time goes well. It's close between them, 0.020. Oh, he does anyway, 110.194 for Leclerc. So he splits the two Red Bulls, and the gap now between Verstappen and Leclerc, 5 thousandths of a second. That is shocking.
Yeah, how did he get between that? It's already very close between Perez and Verstappen. Now the top 3 is very close to each other. Sebastian Vettel also on track right now. I think also on the mediums. We've not seen any soft running just yet, I think.
No one heading back out there on the softs at the moment, and that's surprising me, because usually when the track's this short on, usually on a wet track or a drying track, they shove on the softest tyre compounds because it takes less time to heat them up. Everyone's out there, as you say, on medium and hard, so track temperature's at 31 degrees, so it's dropped 8 degrees since the session started. That is a significant
Talking about that now, Verstappen just come out on the softs, and Perez as well, I think.
Fantastic. Okay, so yeah. Now we're getting out there for soft tyre runners as well. They've managed to get through the rainstorm on the mediums. The rain has now abated for the time being, but the FIA Race Control did declare it a wet track around about 6 minutes ago, so that was a very quick trying. After they said that they lost it, they've got it back again. Stefan says as well, I don't like the sprint race quali. It's just more intense, but that's just my opinion. I mean, what's your view on it, Synthel? My view is that we've seen it twice. It was okay at Silverstone. It did not work in Italy. I'm intrigued to see how it's going to work here, but I think it's wrong for F1. What's your opinion on the sprint race?
Well, I don't dislike it, to be honest. I do enjoy the sprint races, but only for around 3 races, 3 tracks. It's okay for some changes, but I think F1 was planning maybe to do more tracks next year, so I'm not sure if that will work out. And yeah, as you hear, many people are definitely not a fan of it, so maybe they shouldn't.
I know 6 races is currently planned for 2022 to have the sprint races at. Silverstone, Monza and Interlagos will be one of the 3. And I've also heard rumours that they're going to throw one in at Monaco as well to take up the 4th one. The 5th one I think is going to be done in America. And I think the 6th race is going to be saved for one of the circuits that we always see drama, which is the Canadian Grand Prix. So key areas as well. Miami, I think I've heard the rumour that Miami was offered a sprint race but have denied it because they don't want their first race to be a sprint race, in terms of they'll go racing for 17 laps on a track where the main race is on Sunday. So they've shoved Miami out and they've put Texas to have a sprint later on in the season. So could be a couple of nice races, but the sprint race format we already know is changing next year as Verstappen goes 7 tenths faster on his own best lap time on those soft tyres, as Synthel said he had on 109.417. Perez coming to the line, crosses, and well, they just can't not be without the same tenth of a second. 0.075 separates the two. Then Red Bull are just showing off at this point.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, Perez again close to Verstappen. It's unbelievable. Only 75,000.
So I think we found that anything you can do, I could do better. Red Bull saying to each other right now. The only two as well so far, if I'm wrong. The only two drivers in the 109s are Verstappen and Perez. Everybody else in the 110s down to the 114s, which is where Nikita Mazepin is. Leclerc going off at the exit of Casino de Larga at turn 4. That's where they've put down some new tarmac on the inside runoff area. The inside lines into that part of the track as well. The runoff area has also had some curbs removed, as we mentioned earlier. Vettel into Junção, just having a bit of a sideways moment. Nearly got on the grass as well. That's where Vettel passed Hamilton in 2008. Almost cost Lewis the world title that year until Glock, who tried to stay out on slick tyres in pouring rain, dropped down the field. And Martin Brundle famously said, "Is that Glock?" down at that part of the track as well, into which every British fan honestly cheered. And I'm not even making it up. It was the highest rating F1 race ever on UK British television. 16.1 million people watched it. I think that's only been beaten by the Euro 2020 final, which I think got 20-odd million. But 16.1 million watching ITV F1's last race in 2008. And no joke of a lie, I could hear from my front room at the time the cheer that went round my own town. God knows what it sounded like from the entire country. So that's something there as well. But I suppose, Synthel, speaking as a fan from the Netherlands, this is quite topical. If Max Verstappen wins the title, which looks incredibly likely, what on earth is that roar going to be like for the Netherlands' first ever Formula One world champion?
Well, to be honest, I don't think I will be able to hear it because we'll all be screaming in this house as well. So there won't be. I won't hear that, but I'm sure there will be a lot of screaming right here in the Netherlands as well. Yeah.
I do know.
Sure.
Yeah, I do know that Max Verstappen, though, I think is not happy with Nick de Vries, who became the Netherlands' first ever motorsport world champion earlier on this year by winning the Formula E World Championship for Mercedes. So Verstappen will always be second on that list, but he's the first ever F1 world champion. So he's second in one list, but top in the other. I suppose that could actually happen. I've always said, I get this a lot, and I know you've seen this as well. People do say, English broadcasting myself as well, oh, you're biased towards Hamilton. No, I am enjoying this so much. I've said it so many times this year. If Verstappen wins this title, I'm going to go absolutely nuts because that Red Bull was fastest in pre-season testing. It's been fastest all year long, and we've seen one of the greatest title fights between the two. So, honestly, I don't care who wins. And I'll be happy with either. And I think are you like 70-30 on that spectrum there, Synthol, as to who you want to win the title?
No, yeah, I do really agree with you. I really hope Verstappen will win, but it's just such a great battle for the title. I'm not just like my stepdad who I'm watching with the race with he just wants Verstappen to dominate and win every race, but I'm not like that. I really want the battle to continue to the final race of the season.
Yeah, I do. Last race, Abu Dhabi needs to go down. Has to.
Absolutely.
I tell you what though, we've talked about winning championships now. Hamilton won the British Grand Prix. I remember how mad that was. And I remember, of course, seeing the very passionate responses of the Dutch fans when Verstappen won the Dutch Grand Prix. And as I said on the air, and I said to you after, I stood in that commentary box kicking myself that I couldn't be at that racetrack because it was planned for me to be at the Dutch Grand Prix commentating trackside, and I kicked myself so hard in that commentary box because that was just a sight. They really know how to party.
It was amazing. It was really great. The fireworks, smoke, everything. It was perfect right there. It was a great race and great for the fans, of course.
I've got that on repeat, actually. I forgot that screensaver. I've got that. I took an image just after the checkered flag with all the fireworks going off and the orange smoke and Verstappen coming down the pit straight as well. I've got that as a screensaver as well because you just got to. It's moments like that you love. And we've had that a lot this year, actually. Hamilton won the British Grand Prix home race. Verstappen won the Dutch Grand Prix home race. Danny Ricciardo won the Italian Grand Prix, which is part of his home race. And so we've had it.
Yeah, there was the unexpected one, of course, Ricardo in Monza, but also was a great race, of course, yeah. And also about that, Verstappen being possibly champion this year, he said that he would take number 1 as his number 2 if he wins, of course.
That's brilliant news.
I think he said like, how often do you get the chance to get the number 1 in your car? So he will do that if he gets champion, he said.
That takes it away from what Lewis Hamilton said as well. Hamilton's actually put out in a press release, I think, what was it, back in 2014 or even 2015, just pre-season when he won the title. He said, who wants to... he said, number 1 has been with a lot of men. And that was honestly what he said. It was something along those lines as well. And he said as well that he didn't want her on the front of the car, whereas 44 is unique. Can you imagine the Lewis Hamilton of today saying what he did just, eight years ago? It's beyond his belief, honestly. The driver tracker's working. The driver tracker's working on one screen. We're trying to get it operational on the other, but it is having a bit of a paddy already because I'm trying to get it to work and it's not working. So that's always the disappointment on this matter when I try and reset it. So I've lost TV pictures again, by the way, so you've probably got more access to the TV screens than I have.
Yeah, it's a bit of a delay, but I do see there's a lot of people already coming out on track right now.
Yeah, the driver tracker, a lot of them actually coming around as well, actually. We've got system failure once again, actually, up in the box in terms of TV graphics. Oh, look, you can see it live, actually. It's resetting itself. So whatever it's doing, it is fixing itself hopefully quite soon. So we'll continue. Ignore the big box in the bottom that's just trying to load out. Verstappen is fastest, 109.417. Perez second, Bottas third. Leclerc, Alonso completes the top 5 as well, going into the remaining sessions. Tsunoda getting passed by Mazepin, who's then followed by Bottas, Schumacher, Gasly. Oh, and this is Schumacher running into the back half into turn number 10 at the Bico di Pato corner and gets a lot of curb exit as well and jumps over the side of the track. So I don't know if you'll see that in a second there, Sims, but that's a bad one. A lot of
just seen it.
Yeah, spinals. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we're back. We've got
so Lewis out on track on the softs as well. Now he's dropped down to P13 actually, but he'll try to improve and get back in the top 4.
He's used his 5th engine of the season. Out of the 3 allowed, he's reached his limit on everything. So this is the second unit that Hamilton has decided to take. He took his last one, I think, at Turkey. So it's interesting that just a couple of races later, 2 races later, we're back here again having to do it. So
yeah, it's surprising that the Mercedes both have to switch now, especially Bottas, of course, has to change stuff a lot. And get those penalties.
I suppose, as we said immediately, I suppose they think because it's a sprint weekend, it's damage limitation. We've got Red Bull doing something. I think we've got a wing crack on one of the Red Bulls, and it's Max Verstappen. Yeah, Verstappen's got a problem with his rear wing. He's come back into the pit. There's a lot of work going on the back there. Ted Kravitz has just shown this on the Sky F1 feed. But Verstappen with a problem with his rear wing. There's a lot of mechanics around there just taking off what look like a side panel. So Verstappen with wing trouble, and that's why he's come back into the pit lane. That's losing a lot of time.
Didn't we see that last week as well in Mexico when
yes,
the Red Bull had some rear wings issues as well?
Yeah, it was Mexico. I thought so. So it happened at COTA. And now it happened in Mexico, and it's happened again. It's like 3 weekends in a row. And I remember, you're right, because Perez said, didn't he? They had double wing failure on Friday, and they took off Perez's brand new wing, gave it to Verstappen. Verstappen again with a cracked rear wing, it seems. It's fixed. Yeah, that's possible. Go to you.
Yeah, you were right. I think it was Verstappen who had issue with his rear wing, and that rear wing was given to Perez. I think that, or not. Yeah, he had some issues with that or something. I'm not sure what happened, but they give that to Perez. There was a lot of angry people in there on social media because of that. But yeah, that's what happened as well, and that possibly cost Perez a little bit in. I think it was qualifying where that happened.
I think you're right, yeah. So, yeah, qualifying it happened, they changed it over, and Perez lost out on that time because the straight line speed was different to what we eventually saw. So, more drama already as Hamilton is circulating out on the circuit once again. So he's going very slowly, though, out on the track, so I think he's just trying to get a gap to people as we're back up and running. If any of you just went down on the YouTube channel, we're back up and running. At the moment, there's a little spot of rain cloud on one of the dusts as well. And on the cameraman's lens there, a little bit of rain drop that's been there for around about 45 minutes. You better want to get that cleaned out as well, since the rain started in the session. Russell, Bottas, Giovinazzi, Latifi, Hamilton, Norris, Ricciardo, Tsunoda on the track. Hamilton's waiting for some clean air, so he's going to let Lando Norris. No, he's gone anyway. Norris is still stuck behind him. You can see on the driver tracker below. Fernando Alonso just finished 9th last time out at the Mexico City Grand Prix. Just lost what else that said as well coming through. Oh, stream frozen, can't hear you. Hopefully we're okay. That's what's come through there. Around about 45 minutes. You better want to get... No, I think you can still hear me on my end. I think you just heard me coming back through ourselves on the YouTube stream there. So, yeah, it's back now. So it's all going well. As I can't check my Twitter at the moment as well because everything's gone down a bit. But 12 minutes to go in the session. You looking forward to qualifying later then, Synthel? Who's your tip to put it on pole for the sprint race? If it's anyone but Red Bull, I'd be questioning it round about now because they are dominant so much already in this session.
Yeah, I can't say anyone else than Verstappen, I hope, to be honest. Well, it could be Paris as well, of course, but I think Verstappen will get that, is it called pole position? What's it called again? The fastest lap or something? Not called pole position, of course.
Pirelli Speed King Award, is it? I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bottas goes P3, but I think the pole lap for the qualifying today, it's the fastest driver, Pirelli Speed King Award, whatever. It's just a tyre. It's that Pirelli tyre that you get to top it.
Yeah, they should honestly just say you got pole position when you get fastest here, and when you win the sprint races, they should just call you sprint race winner or something. And
yeah,
it's
I would honestly, I like the idea that next year is going to be a sprint race championship for the six. But then again, it kind of defeats the object, doesn't it? Because from what I've heard, pole position is now going to be set by the qualifying on the Friday, and the sprint race itself is going to change to just a points-paying race as normal, and it won't set the grid for Sunday. So I think that's a bit ridiculous because what the hell's the point?
They're trying to do something, but just not really working, to be honest. Yeah, they shouldn't do. Yeah, it's really tricky to make sprint races fit in a weekend and fit in a Formula 1 season, to be honest. It's a good idea, but it doesn't maybe really work.
I thought that the best idea was maybe run the race to exactly half distance. So if you want to have a sprint race, do a 50% race distance and give out the old style points. So, 2 seconds, Hamilton.
Negative.
Front pressure's low now for Lewis Hamilton, so it's give and take with that Mercedes. It's either too stiff or too low. Russell's gone off track and continued at turn 4 at Casino de Laga. Yeah, one thing just to explain once again, I thought with the sprint race, make it a 50% race distance and give the drivers 10 points for a race victory, and then just take it down to 10 where you get 1 point. So you get the old style World Championship points for running half the race. And I think that's only fair because you get 12.5 points if the race goes beyond 75% distance with a red flag. We saw, or half points or even, for completing 2 laps at Belgium. So I think 10 points is very much fair for a sprint race.
Yeah, you're right. It could all happen, I think this what they do, what they have now isn't that bad, to be honest. I mean, the idea, what you said earlier, that they want to do just a race which is separate from the rest, like qualifying or the race. There's nothing to do with the sprint race, but that's I don't think that's a really good idea. I think that even this, what they're doing right now, is better than that.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's 3, 2, 1 for points paying positions. The top 3 get them, and the top 3 get medals now. As Hamilton jumps to the top. Hamilton's gone fastest, 109.348. 69 thousandths of a second faster than Verstappen. So Hamilton goes top, fastest sectors 1 and 3, but he's still slow in sector 2 compared to Verstappen, so that one still belongs to Max. But Hamilton takes top dog honours here at the moment in opening practice, and despite, I think, making a mistake at the exit of Casino de Lago. Oh, all 4 wheels off the white line at the exit of Casino de Lago. Let's take a look at the track limits for this weekend. They should be somewhere around here. Coming through. No track limits? What? This is very unusual. I'm not seeing any track limits from the race director's notes. No, I'm not. Oh my goodness me. We've got no track limits this weekend. That can't be right.
That's kind of great as well. Yeah, I don't know why would they should put track limits there in turn 4, I think it is. Because if you go wide there, you'll basically lose time because this bigger curves on the outside will drag you wide, and that will cost you time, I think.
I've looked at every article point. There are no track limits this weekend. All right, all right, then that's fine.
Yeah, it's basically a bit of an old school track. If you go wide here, you'll lose a lot of time for sure. You'll go onto the grass or maybe even into the wall at some point. So.
One thing. Go on.
Yeah, this is not really a track where you need track limits, to be honest. So it's
I'm honestly going to be laughing if the track limits get added and it's the last corner, because the pit lane line, it dips into the pit lane, the normal racing line. It hasn't done that for a number of years, but you still see a couple of them changing it. If it's track limits at one of the most pointless corners in Formula 1 that isn't even a corner, I will just absolutely lose it. I think there was no track limits in the old days. Put grass and gravel on the exit. This is what I'm talking about. As Sainz comes through, look, he's done it. He's just gone below the white line on the run towards the pit lane. Goes P5 on a 1:10.124. And he's only just faster than Leclerc, actually. He's done a 1:10.142. So 22,000. No, you're right, Josh. 22,000 separate them. You've got to get your maths right. I need Megan back in the box. She'll be here for qualifying to help out with the sums as well. Before being with me for the rest of the weekend in the comms. Leclerc into Casino de Lago. Does exactly the same as Hamilton, but a bit too extreme. Goes all 4 wheels off the track. And he's on the radio.
Break something out of turn 4.
Didn't see anything.
Leclerc asking, did I break anything out of turn 4? No, nothing came off the back of the track. Then he's sliding it through Magullo as well at the exit as well through turn 11. So a lot of push there for the 2 Ferraris. 5th and 6th at the moment. Hamilton fastest, 109.348. Verstappen second, followed by Perez in P3 as well. Yeah, Josh Blaze just confirmed no limits this weekend, so my version of notes are correct, and that's even more frightening.
Yeah. There might be some track limits added into the weekend, maybe later on at the Scuderia de Lago, because that's the only place where you can go wide and maybe gain a little time. But I don't think they will, to be honest. The Ferrari's up there, P5, P6, and the McLaren's still down, and they're not coming out on track just yet. So, not sure why.
Yeah, Ricciardo's down in 19th place. He's done a 1:10.990 on his last lap time. And Norris in P14 as well. So they're right down there on the field. But the entire field separated by 1.642 at the moment. Nope, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It's 1.994 at the moment, because I didn't see that Mazepin's time was gone down as on the board. So Mazepin just changing over there as well. Track temperature at 33 degrees. Air temperature 18 as well. Leclerc has gone off again at turn 4. Gasly has just backed out of it ever so slightly. But it's all go in the last couple of minutes. Now we're going to see some really fast times. Hamilton's done the fastest first sector, 17.643 as well. So they're all flying now. And they're all getting traffic as well. Look at the driver truck as well. Gasly, Vettel, Tsunoda all closing up on each other. Throwing Alonso there as well with Schumacher. And this is what I don't like to see as well. Cynthia, you've been taking a look at some of the MotoGP races this year as well when we've done watch-alongs as well. Have you seen any of the qualifying sessions where they're all backing each other up so much as well? It's getting a bit like that now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a small track. It's not really easy to let people pass on this track because at some points it's just very small and at just some fast corners it's very tricky to get out of the way, of course. And yeah, 20 cars on a not that big track.
Old school circuit, as you say, 4.309 kilometres. Hamilton.
So Hamilton now, on P1 with over 3/10, so it's got a pretty big gap to Verstappen now. I think both Alpines and McLarens are the only one. Oh, and Bottas has fast lap on the stop. So I think only the Alpines and McLarens are on mediums. They're fastest laps, right?
Yeah, they're the only two settlers on the mediums.
Yeah. And I see both
Norris
McLarens are out on track now, but on mediums again.
So they're going to do some long runs. Verstappen has just left the track as well, actually. He's gone out there on an old set of soft tyres. So Verstappen's back on the track after his rear wing trouble, which is great news to see. They've managed to repair it. They couldn't have replaced it in that time either because it takes a long time to replace a rear wing on a Formula One car. To get everything okay, because the DRS system as well, it's linked into the diffuser. It's a messy situation. That's why you usually see if a driver loses the rear wing across a race, they retire because it's just too long and the engine overheats and it cooks up and then you just can't restart the engine as well. Mitigating circumstances as to how you can rear-fire a Formula One car. If you stall in the pit box, you can restart it. Usually they don't let you, though, if it's while doing mechanical issues. They've got to tick over. Tsunoda's gone to P10 at the moment as well, a 1:10.374. Hamilton's still up there as well. Don't forget, qualifying coming your way later on air at 6:40 GMT. That's British time as well. If you're in Central European time, that's 7:40. We're underway with a 20-minute build-up as well. Me and Megan are going to be filming the commentator challenge, hopefully in a few moments' time. If not, though, I've got to find some leads and connect the controllers there so that we can actually do it. Around Sao Paulo, as Carlos Sainz coming to the line. Last 2 minutes of the session then. It's been eventful, Synthel, but it's been a typical sprint race opening practice, hasn't it? Because they've all been out there, they've all done some laps in, but the rain sort of hampered things as it did in Italy.
Yeah, there's a lot of action on track, but it's mostly just testing and trying to get the setup real quick. I only got one practice session before the qualifying, and it's basically the only practice session because I don't think the second practice session that's helpful. I think it's pretty useless, to be honest. But yeah.
That's another fact with the sprint weekend as well. The fact that free practice 2 is effectively meaningless so much. It's just there because they didn't want the two qualifying formats back to back.
Yes, and they're all keeping it basically pretty good, pretty much on track. So not a lot of drama or crashes this session.
The history shows us as well that we never usually get a red flag in a sprint race session until we come to the main race as well. Silverstone was stopped. Italy was almost stopped, but they were able to cover it under the safety car. We've yet to see a red flag in the sprint race, though. We've seen safety cars deployed, which was a pretty unique situation, actually, because that sprint race in Monza was historic. It was the first time a safety car was actually thrown in a qualifying session. So if any of you want to put that down as a mad stat, that is your answer. When was the safety car deployed during a qualifying session? It was the 2021 Italian Grand Prix. Checkered flag out then in 3, 2, 1, and the session comes to a close with Lewis Hamilton fastest in all three sectors now, a 109.050. He is 3.5 tenths clear of Max Verstappen, but Verstappen was kept in the pit lane for a number of laps whilst they changed, or repaired, I should say, the rear wing of his car. So he has got more time to show. But Lewis Hamilton has a 5-place grid penalty coming into Sunday's race as well for a new internal combustion engine. So he has got to take pole position later on today for the sprint race tomorrow, win the sprint race, but he'll start 6th on the grid. and then try and at least finish on the podium or win the race. Right now, I think you'd agree, Synthol, the ball is very much in Verstappen's court.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, the Paris has now a good chance to get in top 2. I think, when's the last time Red Bull got a 1-2? I think it could be Malaysia 2016, but I can't remember any other time that...
Don't worry, we've got a couple of minutes.
Red Bull.
The Constructors' Championship would help me. 1-2. Don't think they've done it this year, have they? No, they've done 1-3s. They have not done a 1-2 all year. No. You're right.
Well, they were looking to get a 1-2 in Azerbaijan, of course, but we all know what happened next.
Yes. I think you're correct there, because they nearly had it in 2019 at this track, didn't they? But then Hamilton T-boned the sign of Albon.
Yeah. Indeed, yeah. It was in the track as well.
Red Bull's last 1-2 was all that time ago in Malaysia? Wow.
Yeah, I can only remember Malaysia 2016 last time, but I'm not. Yeah, I think it is.
Ricardo,
so that's really long ago.
Yeah, I'm looking, and no stats show that as well. Actually, just their first and last wins.
Yeah, it's just what I can remember. I haven't looked it up anywhere else either, so I could be wrong there, but I think it is.
Desperately trying to remember 2018 now, and I think you're right.
Yeah.
I know, because they were on course for one in Brazil in 2018 as well, with Ricardo running P2, but then Verstappen got hit out by Ocon and Ricardo came into the pits. Was Ricardo with him in 2018? Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
No, I think Hamilton was second.
Yeah.
And then he
inherited the lead.
Past,
It's very confusing, John. Yeah. I think you are absolutely spot on there, Synthol, that the last time Red Bull had a 1-2 was Malaysia 2017. And even then they had a
very long ago.
Wow.
Yep.
And that was due to Hamilton. Yeah, no, they just dominated that weekend, didn't they? Mercedes were off the pace all the time that weekend. In the last race we had there, Ferrari had a shocking weekend in Malaysia 2017. Vettel retired from the race and had to start from the back of the grid anyway, but then retired. And Kimi Räikkönen never even took the start after having exactly the same problem that had to happen to Vettel back in Japan of the same year, where spark plugs came loose and the engine would not fire correctly. And we all remember Japan 2017. Vettel bogged down at the start, and then by lap 2 was just a sitting duck to the rest of the field. So that was a very comical commentary, if I remember correctly. But you are right. So Red Bull then looking to get a 1-2 this weekend. Now that Mercedes have been neutered in respect as well. Bottas going to be their best hope. Hamilton has got to attack qualifying later on as well. The Brazilian fans welcome back Formula One with open arms. They're going in now for some lunch to get everything sorted. But it's 3/10 the gap at the top at the moment. So then I'm going to ask you, Synthol, what's your moment of the session from FP1?
I'm not sure. It was not really something that stood out, but it was just a normal practice session. Quite some things happened, but nothing that was exceptionally interesting. But I'm not sure. I can't say a moment that was the best, to be honest.
I'd agree. There's not really been much in that session, but I thought I'd throw it out here in case you had an opinion. Let's go through the times. It's Hamilton fastest on a 109.050, Verstappen in second, Perez third, Bottas goes P4, Gasly fifth, Sainz sixth, Leclerc seventh, Ocon eighth, Alonso ninth, and Stroll rounds out the top 10. Tsunoda P11, Vettel is 12th, Raikkonen 13th, Giovinazzi 14th, Norris 15th, Schumacher 16th, 17th for Latifi, 18th for Russell, Ricciardo 19th, Mazepin rounds out in 20th place as well. Qualifying underway then, we'll be on here at 6:40 GMT, that's 7:40 Central European time as well. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got FP2, followed by the sprint race. And on Sunday, the main race begins as well for Formula One's Sao Paulo Grand Prix. We're on here at 4:15 GMT as well. And don't forget to catch us for the last ride of Valentino Rossi, the Valencia Grand Prix for MotoGP. That's underway, 12:30 GMT as well for the last race over there in Spain as well. My thanks to you, Synthol, for joining me in the commentary box. It's been fun. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again in the future. I'm looking forward to all your posts now throughout the weekend as well. Have you got to go through that session, or because not much happened, have you got a quiet hour before qualifying?
No, I'm just gonna ignore this. It was a great practice, but not a lot of content, obviously, to make from this.
Yeah, I'd agree. But thanks to all of you for tuning in at home as well. Reminder to go to Synthal's Instagram account, F1 highlights, F1_highlights_3, and his TikTok as well of F1 highlights 1. And go and take a look at all the content he's got on there as well, with some great behind-the-scene footage as well from F1 TV that isn't available everywhere, and so that does a remarkable job of showing everybody some things that Formula 1 fans don't usually get to see. My thanks to you, Synthal. My thanks to you all at home. We'll be back then for qualifying later on today. Megan Birch will join me in the commentary box for that one as we gear up for the sprint weekend to continue. Bye for now.